Hi, Chris.
How are you?
I'm good. Thank you. How are you?
Great, great. I also noticed that I wasn't able to access my advanced Soul Compass analytics for the last few days, so
For
I
the
mentioned it
last
to,
few days. Okay.
yeah, yeah.
I haven't
I
looked
check
the
I
last.
check every day because I want to count the number of coherence bars I
Yeah,
have.
exactly.
I'm greedy for those tokens.
Yes, yes. Hi, Melissa. Um, all
Hi
right,
there.
I'm texting Mohan right now that
Yeah, I texted him yesterday as well. It
okay.
could be just some
Yeah.
outage issue.
Yeah, I think he's in Singapore still. He
Okay.
was in China, then Singapore. So hopefully we'll see him shortly because if we can't look at results, it's going to be a short meeting. How you doing,
Well,
Melissa?
Patrick's Day, so I'm going to be heading to my favorite watering hole,
Okay.
my
Yep.
green today.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Right. It's St. Patrick's Day. It's also the finals of the Indian Wells tennis tournament
Oh,
here in
okay.
California. I stayed up last night watching the semifinals. I was supposed to be there live, actually, uh, but I am not. Hey, Stan. Stan the man. Our filmmaker who is with us on this journey. Um, so yeah, I'll just give a few more minutes to warm up here, give people a chance to join us. For some reason, the advanced compass is not working right now online. I texted Mohan. Let's see if he can. Sometimes he can flip the switch or reset it, or kick it. Remember the old days with television? You just had to like move the antenna
The rabbit ears.
in the rabbit ears, yeah, or kick it, or hit it. Like sometimes that would work too.
You're not old enough to remember that.
I am old enough to remember that. I'm going to be 60 this year. Yeah, I know, Chris. I'm catching up to you.
Well, actually,
So,
Garmin has me dropping. I dropped 11 years.
oh my God, in just one
Yeah.
year? That's
Yeah,
crazy.
I'm turning 71 in June and I'm down to 59 and a half on Garmin.
Wow. So you and I are the same virtual
So
age.
who's right? Is Garmin right or is
That's great, Chris. I knew it. I knew it. Well, while we're just waiting a few more minutes, like I'm literally living right now, sitting at a desk in the same location where I studied engineering 40 years ago.
Hmm.
Like same house, exact house. My bedroom is the bedroom that I lived in with Bruce. And right there is where I played with the Lisa computer before the Mac came out. Like right there. Bruce was trying to sell it like 50 years ago. Anyway, good times, lots of deja vu. Feels really good. I feel very much at home. Um, Bruce has been he's like you, Chris. He's like my eternal soulmate. Um, and he even put in a little cat door for my babies uh, to get out. So um, here we are. It is March 17th. I think what we're going to do today, since, as I mentioned a moment ago, we're having a little difficulty with the advanced soul compass. So unless Mohan fixes it in the next half hour, we are not going to be able to analyze results today, but that's okay. We can just give you guys an update on what we're working on and what's happened recently in the last few weeks, because I'm sure it was a surprise to hear that things were going one way, and then uh, it didn't. We didn't close this financing that we were real. I was really sure was coming. Um, but it's a good experience for many, many reasons. One is just realizing that it's best to wait to make announcements until they're complete. That's probably the first, lesson. Um, but the bigger ones that I just wanted to share with you guys, because there were many blessings in disguise in this whole journey that we're on together. um, Constantly expanding, just experiencing how do you trust yourself, right? As you engage in life, and you engage with others. And I'm very much a heartfelt person, and I really don't like to approach anything with caution. Like, that's just not, to me, that's the world I want to leave, right? I want to co-create with our pilots a new world of win-win, and where, love rules. And you don't have to think or be fearful. Like, that just doesn't exist when you're in a coherent state. You find the value in everything, and that's my nature. So, my co-founder, Michael, who is really the counterbalance to me, he's very, very analytical. He's from Germany. He's a mastermind. Stan, you met him because Stan flew out and joined us in Barcelona on this trip. And Stan was able to film our conversations. So, someday, when we create a little documentary, you'll kind of see how the heart and the mind work together in this reality. And so Michael and I are really optimizing those skills, the wisdom that comes from the heart and the mind. And he is very coherent mentally, and I am more heart-based. So it was really incredibly powerful, and for each of us to do this together, and consider a new major investor coming into our organization. Because, as many of you know, if you've ever done a startup or have a business and you have investors, it's like a little marriage. And it's very important to energetically have alignment with your investors. And Chris, for instance, I've known for 20 years, and we have tremendous alignment. And as you all know, he's a very active pilot and has really helped us, not just with his money, but more with his energy, with his heart and soul and contribution. And all of you that's actually your value as well in this creation together. Money is still needed, obviously, to, survive, but we are going for things that I think are worth more. The intrinsic value of love and joy and inspiration and satisfaction and resonance with your divine self. Like, when are you really being the best version of you? That is something money can't buy. And I do believe it's more valuable than today's currencies. And so it's so important, right, that anybody who comes in, including pilots, not just investors, but you as well, we want people who are a really good fit. And we don't have to fix the world. We just want to create something new with you, right? And that's it. We don't. So these guys had an amazing idea, and we got some great ideas because of this journey and this consideration, some of which I'm really excited to share with you. I'm just going to start with them because this is really the value of this journey I was on, and the consideration of a major investor. They come from the art world, and I'm really starting to understand better how art, like if you create art, whether it's music or physical art, when you sell art, it's not taxable in most countries because you did it for joy, you did it for love, you did it for fun. And if you sell art, it's not a taxable event. It's not like buying shares in a company. where there's capital gains. It's intrinsic. And that's what we are about, is intrinsic value. Imagine a country trying to tax its citizens on their joy. Okay, whoa, you're having a lot of joy right now. We're going to have to tax you on that. Or you're in love. Oh, okay, that's going to cost you more. We want to, you see what I mean? Like, it's really amazing. The solution for us as we, mint, as you mint NF Toms. And by the way, I came up with that name on the trip. Like it's so cool. We don't want to be NFTs because those have been watered down and a lot of them are worthless and they just don't have a lot of meaning. They mint them for nothing. They just go do an AI script and okay, go ahead and mint 2,000 slightly different apes and we'll sell them for millions. What's the value in that? So we're going to be able to tap into the value of you, anyone, being in the flow of your artistic creativity. And when you are flowing measurably, joy, satisfaction, fulfillment, passion, when this is flowing through you, we can measure that and then include that information in your NF Tom, your non-fungible token of me. So it's a really beautiful solution for us to differentiate from the crowd. There's never a crowd on the leading edge, and you guys are on the leading edge, and we wanted to give it a new name. So I'm super excited about this name, NF Toms. And it's that's why you're seeing me now, say this in our group chat, that's what you're minting. That's what we're gonna mint. And they are in a class of their own, right? We're creating a new class, and it's heart or art made with your heart, right? And there's value in that, and it differentiates you from artificial intelligence. Is when a human. I was reading a beautiful article that Melissa sent me. Really beautiful article. It's just like I almost cried, tears of joy. Like it'd be no fun to go and create an artificial Leo Messi to go run on the football field and keep scoring. Like we would get really bored of that really fast if a fake version of a great person were to then do their thing more perfectly in a non-human way. That would just be like, okay, well, that's kind of boring. Where's the flavor in that? So these were just some of the wisdom that came up for me and Michael on this journey with Stan, who joined us, and many of you virtually joined us. Some other really, I met with one of our investors who's from everywhere. He's from Vienna, Milano, Mexico, and Austin, Texas in America. And the name of his company is called My Brilliant Cities. He creates cities. I don't mean just, apartment complexes. He creates cities, and you can do that in America because there's lots of space here. And he took the night train from Vienna. We met in Zurich, and we just had a great idea together where he wants to create like a living art community where artists apply. And if you're chosen to live and create in this community designed to support artists, there's a gallery there to display your creativity. And instead of paying rent, his name is Michael. Michael and My Brilliant City has a stake in your NF Toms that are minted when you're living and creating in this creative space. And then the audience, the public, can come to the gallery and the shows. And if you get turned on while enjoying the fruits of their creativity, that becomes part of the value of the art. And you become part of it too. So it's like this really new way of creating art, being an artist, and engaging with others, being a part of your creation. And the value is then shared. And it's worth way more than money. Like Michael, he doesn't want to charge rent for this. He wants to be in on the higher value, which is you when you're creating in a higher state, right? I mean, I see a time when, art already from some of the great artists is pretty expensive, right? They're all non-fungible. They're all unique. And they go for hundreds of millions in dollars. But these become priceless works of art that differentiates you from artificial intelligence as well, and makes it really inspiring to live and play and create together. Like, this is the kind of world I want to create, I want to live in, right? And so we have investors that are like that. They're the ones that are going to bring this forward with our technology, and nothing less will do, right? We just, there is no value in just taking money from someone who isn't going to make the most of it. So that came out of this trip, and there was some other really, really beautiful improvements that came from it, including just getting to spend time with Michael Wagner, who's my original co-founder. We worked together for about 3 years in Switzerland, like 10 years ago. And I could see the blockchain was coming, and I knew it was going to be rather significant. And I ended up leaving that job. And he was really sad. We had a little coffee next to each other in a little room on my last day, and he looked super sad. And I said, Michael, what's wrong? He's like, well, you're leaving, I'm going to miss you. And I'm like, well, how about I just think of something so cool that you come with me? And he gave me, 2 thumbs up, just like my mom used to do. Thumbs up, buttercup. And he's so cute. He then smiled, and I was like, okay, now I just have to go think of something. And what I received is this, it's a token of me. So he became our first investor. He said, wow, this is really going to change the world. And, we didn't create token of me just to make money. We wanted to really create something meaningful. And it's also to play together and to work together, right? And that's a higher value than just, oh, I think this will make some money. Like, that's boring. So Michael, he did invest more at the end of this trip, and he's going to invest more of himself. Stan was there. He saw and heard the deliberation. Michael really wanted to. At first, we really wanted the money so that Michael could come on full time. But, Michael just said it doesn't feel right. And together we realized that this wasn't a good fit. This particular investor, we don't even think that he even is part of the Bouvier family. Like that's how it evolved. So we don't know why they were impersonating this family. They had a great story to tell. They were going to whisk us off to Singapore. It got real, but it also, it also became clear that it wasn't fully transparent, and there's just no way we do business like that. So I'm really happy I went. I'm happy we got, like, there's something else I want to try to explain that was probably the icing on the cake. The best part of the whole thing, thanks, Melissa, is that, and I know you guys are all creators and you've experienced what happens in a flow state. And in particular, if you could pre-experience, like really feel like something coming, if you can feel it, right? You believe it, now you're expecting it, and you're actually experiencing it as if it's happened. Well, that happened to me for about 2 weeks. I could really, really feel, and I think many of you did as well, the enormous abundance of what we're creating and all that's like coming as a result of being able to measure your joy, measure your coherency. Like this is so powerful and so valuable that I could feel everything unfolding, and I felt incredibly abundant, which is different from wealthy, right? Abundance is freedom. It's like liquid love. And then magic started to happen, right? You know, Michael will buy a ticket and lo and behold, we're sitting next to each other on a plane when we bought tickets at a different time, you know, just magic, you know, like, and then Stan, he's in Barcelona ahead of us, and he comes to the airport to greet us, but for some reason Wi-Fi wasn't working, and he's telling us he's there, but we don't know he's there. We're about to go to the apartment and have no way in. Well, here we are in this big airport, and Stan just walks up to me and says, Susan, like, what are the odds, you know, like it just was so poetic. And that's what life can be like in the flow lane, right? Like when you're flowing and you're just feeling worthy and your abundance and your value, just great ideas come, the life just unfolds in these really sweet ways, lots of coincidences, rendezvous. You know, you really trust yourself, you trust each other, you trust the universe. You're really, this is it. This is like what I think we all want. And so by experiencing this, I have even more confidence and certainty about our creation and our future. It is assured. And I know the way the universe works, it sort of magnetically pulls in more like it. Because if you can experience it, like pre-experience it, the universe has to match it. And that's why I think it blew up the deal. It's like, that's not it. That's not a match. You need to now allow the better match, the one that harmonizes with our creation. So that's what we're doing. And what's already unfolding is I have applied for a grant to the Scale blockchain platform. They are based in San Francisco, California. Their foundation is in Liechtenstein, which is near Switzerland. And I was fortunate to get to go ski for a day with the head of the foundation. And they love our project. And they are a good match. They are also like a nonprofit. And so I just finished the application. And I'm planning on meeting with some of their investors behind them. These are the kinds of people who would resonate with our vision. And, you know, I'm also, I think I mentioned, I spoke with Kevin Harrington, who's the founder of Shark Tank. And as early as next month in April, I will be in Miami filming live a pitch, not for investment, but for exposure, for his new book. He's written many, many books on entrepreneurs and startups. And so we think this would be really fun to do it with him. And also Shark Tank itself is a separate entity. We are applying in April as well to be on Shark Tank, because it's fun. And everything I do is to have fun. And the more I focus on the fun, the more it just is easier. you know, that fun resonates with flow, resonates with coherency, and low resistance. So lowering my resistance as well and increasing the allowance. So this trip, when like within minutes of realizing, oh, we're not going through with this, I didn't even feel bad. I called many of our investors to let them know. But I just said, look, I really think this was the path of least resistance for me and the company to feel and therefore create and attract its true value. So it was a success. And it just feels really good. It feels really good and empowering to have made this decision and, you know, not think twice, not second guess. And, you know, that's part of the journey, guys. It's part of the journey. So, any questions for any of you? Comments, questions?
Well, Susie, I think you made the right decision. As I mentioned in my own text to you and actually to all of the pilots, while money is critical for any business venture, and particularly at this stage, you know, you need funding and continue the advancement of the technology. The most important aspect of this project in particular, given it's a soul-based project, is the energy, is the quality of the participants, both investors and also the users. So we have to be careful as we move forward to choose wisely those that resonate with the frequency of the soul project.
Yep, absolutely.
It's
You
very,
know,
it's very easy to plunge into relationships like it is easy to be fooled by fool's gold.
yeah.
Something that's glistening, something that's sexy, or modish or in vogue. It takes great strength and courage and personal self-discipline to pull away from something like that. So, I mean, I'm deeply impressed that both you and Michael made that decision, made it quickly, made it decisively. And great as the temptation was to take $5 million, you thought it was $1 million originally, $5 million.
Yeah.
And it was almost too good to be true. I mean, obviously, there were some signals that caused perhaps both of you to question it. But the wisdom and the personal discipline that you brought to this is really quite remarkable. That many
Thank you, Chris.
entrepreneurs at this stage of a business
Oh, I know,
formation
I know.
would do that.
I know, I know. But I've been around the block a few times, and so have you.
Yeah.
And, you know, it actually it enhanced who I am. It enhanced Michael, and it further enhanced our partnership and why we're doing this together. You know, he and I both see this as if it's a child, right? I mean, Token of Me is now like a child to us, and it's now been birthed, and we want to see it grow up and be strong and be sure of itself with our pilots. And it was really probably the most interesting part with Michael was, you know, in any relationship, you want each party to do their part, right? And you don't want to worry about hurting the feelings of each other. So, like, for instance, I was far more sure of this. You know, it felt right. And from the beginning, Michael didn't. And he explained to me as it was unfolding, his challenges, he says, I don't, you know, you might be mad at me. I go, that's my problem. You do not need to concern yourself with me being mad at you doing your job. Okay. Like, let's get that straight. And this is new. This is not the average experience in a co-working relationship.
Yeah.
Too
Well,
often.
this is why successful businesses really require more than one person at the steering wheel.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
You
You draw
essentially
me
have a team of advisors and supporters
right,
among your investors and among your users
right.
that can help steer this.
Yeah,
Um, yeah, I had some trepidation initially as well. I did that
mhm,
Wikipedia research. I was
sure.
concerned about his colorful background.
Yeah, but
Um,
um, but you and I both know that all really far out there people tend to get smeared somewhere or another in the news. So I
yeah,
wasn't letting
the
that,
only point that I wanted to make was it's easy to get disappointed and it's easy to get down on yourself, but
no,
don't get down on yourself.
no,
You made the right decision. You
yeah.
pulled out, showed great discipline. In fact, this is a badge of honor. And I think all the
Yeah,
investors and all of the people that
yeah.
come into this project
Yeah.
desiring to grow in spirit will honor you for it.
Yeah, well, as it was unfolding, I kept saying to Michael and Stan, like, boy, this is going to make a great movie someday. And it will, you know. Um, so it was a really powerful experience for all of us. And I know it was much more than the right decision. It was an empowering decision. And we are now even more valuable as a result of it. We're not in a hurry, you know, um, and it's inevitable. So don't need to rush things. And that's another takeaway from this is, and to your point, Chris, when something is going fast, that's unnecessary, right? And that's usually sort of a yellow flag. And I was far more trusting than Michael. So it's important now we have even more appreciation for our skills and our roles. And we now have more confidence in trusting ourselves and each other and not worry about if you're going to disappoint each other or be mad at each other. Like that's actually part of having respect and for each other and what your skill set is. Like I am so glad I don't have to live like Michael. He is responsible for banking security and data and risk, managing risk. I'm like, oh my God. Like that's like the worst thing for me to think about, right? But that's his role. And I'm very grateful for that. And he's now going to do more of the stuff that I don't like to do. So, it's good. It's good. Okay, you guys enjoying this? This is real time growth. We're growing to earn. So, um, yeah, lots of good growth here. I'm trying to think of, there were so many other really beautiful ideas that came out of this journey, in addition to NF Toms. And in our last call, I was telling you about how instead of just measuring flow, we're leaning more towards measuring just like joy. I think there's more value in knowing when it rings, makes your heart sing, when you're ringing, when you're feeling appreciation. There's far more applications for that. And that's why Mohan went off to India to look for sensors and manufacturers of any wearables. And he's now in Singapore. Yeah, he was in China, but he's in Singapore now as well. So we're on the hunt now, and things will be evolving. Um, but what's coming in a matter of weeks, and I realize it's taking time, but that's partly because Mohan was traveling. We are, my goal is by the end of this month, so we're the middle of March right now, is to release a new version of the advanced Soul Compass, whereby when you achieve coherency above 70%, you have a bar, you will receive a test NF Tom. Okay, you got to remember, we're in a pilot program. It starts with a test net. There's no listing of these or selling of these. This is, you're part of a movement. We're still in the infancy of this. So we want to test this out with our advanced pilot and on the Scale network. And this is our game plan for organic growth. We don't need to raise millions. We're happy to go slow right now. And we believe that just by rolling this out with you, you guys are, gonna lead this by minting these NF Toms. This is what we're gonna start sharing on social media. And we believe this will beget more and more pilots like yourselves, but we're still gonna filter the applicants. We don't just want anybody coming in, especially to our advanced program. So we want to keep the quality high, but we want to organically grow. And this is really the best strategy. Instead of just having a big explosion and trying to get, millions of customers overnight, that would not be the highest quality. So we're wanting to now just organically grow it and find more people like yourselves to be a part of this movement. Does that make sense? So Mohan will be back, I think, in just a matter of days. So next week, he and I will first be testing it with the partners at Scale. Scale is with a K, Skale. And yeah, we're just going to embrace them, and they're embracing us as a partner. I have lots of people wanting to work with us on our social media to promote this, but I'm not pushing that button yet. I'm just gonna first test it on you guys. Let's first like it internally, and then we can share it with others. So really appreciate you all. You've been with us now for a while. You are beautiful guinea pigs. You guys have any questions about that or any comments? Feel free to.
Just have one comment, Susan.
Go ahead, Tim.
I think getting it right is the most important.
Yeah.
So taking the time and making sure the alignment is pure and genuine is paramount, in my opinion.
Yeah. I mean, you've probably been in startups. I've done a few. Chris has done a few. And we've all seen it happen. And it happens all too often. You get the money and then things go sideways, or you rush it and you just fall on your face. So been there, done that. Don't need to do that again. Yeah. Thanks, Tim. Thanks. Yeah, Melissa, please.
I was gonna say, I come from an art background, and that's really wonderful for me, but I'm really glad to see that you're not just going down an art path, because joy brings, or people can get joy from so many things, and some people don't have that connection with art. And so I love the perspective that you're keeping this open and really focusing more on the joy. And I loved when you said the flow lane. I love that. Yeah. And I mean, art, maybe we get art backers or somehow pull that in, but I loved when you were talking about sports and music, and like, for me, it's nature and it's family, and it's not feeling separate from the oneness of the world, but feeling when I get very one with the world, that's when my joy explodes. And so, however, it happens for other people. So I'm just going to say, I just am thankful we're not going down one lane.
Sure. Even with these investors, we wouldn't go down one lane, but I do hear what you're saying. And I actually think, if I were to predict what's going to cause this to hit the headlines, when this takes off and all of a sudden it's clear that others besides our small circle know who we are.
Mhm.
It's going to be at a concert. When there's a wearable that glows when you're happy and you know it, clap your hands, and you can wear your heart on your sleeve, and all of a sudden your clothes light up and your wearable lights up, and the musician on stage just melts right before your eyes because she can see the reflection and the impact on her audience. That's true love.
Well,
And
don't forget we have Red Rocks in Denver.
okay.
Always come to the Red Rocks.
Okay, whatever makes your heart sing. But yeah, there's something about allowing the creator, like the musician on stage or the athlete on the field, to witness what's really happening on an energetic level when they look around, and instead of just seeing cell phones with the light turned on, they actually see their fans turned on.
Yeah, connected.
That's like, this just goes nuts, okay?
Yeah.
That's when this hits mainstream and
Yeah.
mass adoption. So we're not gonna come out of the box with that, because like we just wouldn't be able to support that overnight. So we're just gonna do it gently and organically, first with our pilots, and go out on social media. We want to create custom videos. Stan's still on the call. He wants to create little testimonials with each of you, so that you're sharing it with the world instead of just me or the company. It's now can go viral, and each of you are sharing your experience and what it's doing to you. Like for instance, Chris, he's had a very big life change just in the last year with this. And each of you has a different experience. It's all unique. It's non-fungible, right? You can't trade. Melissa and Tim can't trade, and Chris has his, and it's a paradox. It's your own journey, but the paradox is when you're in a state of joy, you're actually connected and resonating with that version of everyone. And that's the oneness that everyone's really trying to experience. It isn't to get the love from you, but to actually feel it flowing through them. And it is going to be a really expanding experience, because this concept of connection and oneness is, I think, a bit misunderstood by the masses. A lot of people are still looking for love in the wrong places. They're trying to get it from you or from their family, when you could really go into either a state of joy through meditation or sports or art or music, and then you're flowing. Well, now your heart's overflowing, and that's the energy that everyone can feel. And that's why going to a concert feels so good, because you can, go up together. But when you go home, if you can only get that high by that drug or by that concert, then you're not feeling your worthiness. You're not feeling your true connection. It's a codependency. And what we ultimately want is everyone to feel the ultimate connection, which is with your divine connection. And that does resonate with unconditional love. And it is the most powerful energy there is. But it is beyond what I think a lot of people consider the norm. So it's like this, it's really, it's really beyond even describing. Yeah, there you go, Tim. Yeah, belonging and connection. It's a difference between unconditional love and conditional love, or true love and codependency. We're going for the that which comes from clarity and wisdom, which is, and trust, just even the concept of trust can be misunderstood. A lot of people think trust comes from, I need to trust that you're going to behave in such a way that doesn't make me feel bad. Like, that's not trust. Right? So like even there is like an evolution here in what we're creating, and a purity. Yeah, I see Laura looking around. Like it's really it'll change you as you play with the beliefs around what is love, what is trust, and a lot of times, like Esther Hicks says something that is one of my favorite sayings. You'd be perfect if you'd be a little different. Like, because I'm not feeling so good right now. So if you could just change your behavior, I'll feel better. And if you don't, I'm not going to trust you. I might not even love you. Right? So there's like a lot of fear and control in people's beliefs about what is love and what is trust. And yeah, when you understand yourself, as Laura's saying, yeah, exactly. When you trust yourself, when you're in a high state of pure joy and acceptance and wisdom and grace, when you're in that state, you actually can only see that in others. And that's how you pull others up. You don't look at their mistakes. You don't judge them. That's the mind interfering. You don't even see right or wrong. Have you ever been really in a flow state where you're just so in love? Nothing's wrong. It's all good. It's all good. So that's where I was for about a week. And it's a super powerful state to create from. And yeah, that's what we're measuring. So it was really fun to go on this joyride and expand more, right? Because I know it's not a state we stay in 24/7, but I want to know the difference. I want to be able to discern when I'm there and when I'm not, and from that place, then choose inspired action. Got it? So we still don't have the advanced soul compass working right now, so we're not going to be able to analyze anybody today, but maybe that's not what today was about. It was just about this catch up and sharing together. Does anyone else have any questions, comments?
I don't have a question, but I do have to sign off, unfortunately. I just got back from Chicago. Yesterday, we created 50,000 meals for hungry kids, and I co-hosted the event. It was a long day. I'm
Yeah.
tired. I flew in this morning.
Thank
But
you.
again, I just wanted to thank you, Susan, for making the right decision for the group. And
Absolutely.
you put the company and you put the soul of the company first. And
Yep.
that's true leadership. I'm glad you're CEO.
Thanks, Chris. Well, I'm just super
But good CEOs surround themselves with a team that's diverse.
Yes. Yep.
And I don't want to use the word compensate for differences in orientation or leadership skills, but add value such that wisdom prevails.
Yep, exactly.
And not emotion, not fascination. It's, as I say, it's easy to get excited by something that glitters or dazzles.
Yeah.
Stay on. You're doing the right thing.
Yeah, no, I'm actually super excited to have Michael now more involved, and now more than ever, my personal preference is to be successful just so I can play with him more.
Well, you have a council here. A lot of the people here on this screen are people I've been seeing every week.
I know.
They serve almost like a privy council.
I know, exactly.
All these people are very wise.
I know.
And they're all connected. They're taking time from their lives to be part of your story or our story.
Yeah.
And so all of them are available to you as counselors, as supporters with hearts, but wisdom too. All of them bring
Absolutely.
backgrounds.
And you all do. I have a direct connection with all of you, and I
So
love
exploit the value of all of these folks.
it.
I sense the energy here is so powerful.
Indeed, yes. Melissa sends me all sorts of cool articles. Tim too, when he has insights, and Laura. Shauna's been with me for years. Yeah,
And
Andrea.
also, I also sense not only is there wisdom, but there's authenticity and honesty.
Mhm.
Nobody's going to tell you something that they think you want to hear. They're going to
Exactly.
tell you the truth as they understand it.
Mhm.
And then it's over to you and Michael and those that are part of your leadership team, Mohan, to make the final decision. But I think you can trust that these people are truthful.
Oh yeah, absolutely. They're coherent. Thank you, Chris.
Okay. Bye, everybody.
Thank
Have
you.
fun. Take care. Love you all.
Yep. And Stan, you want to say anything? You were there. You lived through it. Stan was with us during most of this.
Yes, yes. So I just want to verify that the direction that eventually took place was absolutely the one that I feel all feel right now is the correct one, and that will also lead us to better places. Just what you said that you relived, or like you you accumulated this vision of abundance in front of us. This was the more powerful thing that took place.
Yep.
So yeah, keeping this sacred is more important than anything. And yeah, you guys, you'll see down the line, down the years, we'll have a great story out of that. I'll make
Oh
sure
yeah.
I contribute with my viewpoint on that.
Yeah.
But yeah.
Absolutely. And then in the near term, you'll be hearing from Stan as we go forward. We are wanting each of you to be co-creators and provide like really authentic testimonials for the Soul Compass and Token of Me and your journey and its impact on you, so that you will have a pathway to share it with your audience and with our audience and attract more people like yourselves. So cool beans. What a journey, man.
And thanks for sharing it with us. Like you said in the beginning, you're like, you learn not to say too much in the beginning,
Yeah.
but it's because it's just
Mhm.
happening that way. And I am so grateful that you are sharing it, because it really has made me think like,
Yeah.
oh, what do I do that I may be following the trail of money and not paying attention to my heart? So thank you for, like giving us a peek behind the curtain.
Sure, Melissa. I mean, I think more than ever, the stakes are higher for everyone because with AI, the tools are even more sophisticated now for the good actors and the bad actors. And I do feel a little fooled, to be honest, in the end, but I'm not going to focus on that. Right? I'm going to focus on the blessings, and I don't want to be doubtful. I don't want to meet people and assume they're not who they say they are. Like, I just don't want to live like that. And that's kind of Michael's job. So he can play that part, and I get to still be who I am. And together we'll be stronger. So I'm already co-creating more with my colleagues on board so that I can continue to be more of who I am, because that was actually, and Stan was there to witness all this, perhaps the most challenging part for me. And there was a little sadness for a few seconds because when something doesn't go as your heart believes it's going to go, And it also turns out to not be so transparent. On the other part, you're like, dang it, do I really have to second guess people? Do I really have to second guess myself? I don't want to live like that. Right. And so it was a real test of, how can I just see the good in everyone? How can I don't want to be just Pollyanna about it, but I also don't want to be guarded. Like, I just don't want to live like that, and that's what made me angry during part of it. It's like, really? No, I refuse. Michael, you can play that part. I'm not going to do that, right? I don't want to start all my relationships with what's potentially wrong with you. Like, that's a terrible way to live, right? But I also don't want to be the fool. And yeah, so this was a real expansion for me personally, and I believe for our creation together.
But
I think that
I see you as not the fool, because you have these people around you who are giving you some feedback and you've put them in place, and it's a perfect symphony of people making the thing, making it all happen. And it's not just you.
Right. Yeah. And what happened was, like with Michael, we got through this conversation, which we never had, which was, well, if I don't think something is legit, I need to be able to say that, even if you're disappointed or maybe even angry with me because you want to go through with it, but I see some red flags. I need to trust that you trust me to do my job so that you could be you. But in the end, that's true love. True love doesn't want the other to say or do what you want them to do. And this was really the beauty of this experience with Michael, is me saying to him, I don't think you realize how capable I am of actually honoring you. And I want to deal with my disappointment. I don't want you to compromise. I don't want you to please me. I don't want this. This is fake love. This is fake trust. I want you to trust yourself and let me deal with whatever the fallout is. Because if you don't, and Stan even saw this, Stan witnessed this, because there's a little part of Michael who was compromising, because that's just what people do when you're in a relationship. You kind of go against yourself a little bit because you don't want to disappoint the other. And a little bit of that was happening. And Michael was exhausted. And I noticed it. I go, because he's like, wow, I can't believe how tired I am, And I said, Michael, that means you're going against yourself. And you never can do that, because if you do, you're going to resent me, you're going to be angry at yourself, and you're going to beat yourself up. And there's resistance in that. And that's why you're tired. So you have to keep being true and not worry about me. Right? So this was like, we were doing big energy stuff together. And Michael was learning how to trust himself and not betray himself in the name of keeping the peace, which is what happens a lot in business and in relationships. It's a false peace. It's a false harmony. So I'm delighted to get to share this with you guys, because this is the kind of transparency that will give you confidence and certainty that no words can convey. You're a witness to the process of expanding and self-realizing as a group, as a team, as a company, and as a technology. This is how we may not be We may not have it all finished. We're not even close to having it finished. It's still the beginning. But what I feel and trust will be the takeaway from this call. You guys know we're going to get there.
Mhm.
It's written in the stars.
Mhm.
You see what I'm saying? Like, you can't fool people in the future with what your words are. You have to walk it. You have to do it. You have to live it. You have to actually experience it. And then the results will speak for themselves. Yes. Thanks, Tim. Reading, yes. Yeah. Yeah, you see, this is how you build, I call real trust in yourself and in your customers and in your investors. Because I've been through this also with our investors, right? I had them believing also we were closing a major financing. And they were all pretty excited too. So it's not about the destination, it's the journey, right? And we're creating this together. We're learning together. We're trusting each other by trusting ourselves, and we're not compromising. And ultimately, even your vote, if you're a shareholder, needs to be calibrated to this higher state of clarity, this higher state of wisdom that comes from coherency. Because otherwise you're coming from fear or lack, and not from wholeness or love or seeing the whole picture, right? So we're trying to just, walk the walk. And I just know that by doing this, it will unfold. And I had glimpses of it for many days, how incredibly valuable this is. This is a superpower, guys. And it's a value, it's a type of currency that will be higher than all monies on earth right now. Because you can't fake it. Yeah, it's the new truth. And it's priceless. So, all right, what a beautiful conversation. Thank you, all of you. Who wants to say anything? Smiles.
I got zero doubts we'll get there. Zero.
Yeah.
Not like it's like
Yeah.
no.
Yeah, and the other reason, guys, why we're doing a test net, and we haven't even had tokens until now. Some of you have been testing this for almost a year now. It's because we don't want to attract people who are in it for the tokens. Then we have to worry about cheaters. I don't want to spend any of my time or energy on that. I just want to focus on the good guys. And so it really, that's why even when we do mint the tokens, you have to be part of the advanced program. You have to be invited. Like, you can't just sign up. You can't go to the Apple Store or the Google Play Store and go, oh, here's a new game I can, make money off of. No, not really. Go find something else to play with. So yeah, we wanted to make it so that it's not about the tokens initially. You guys are in it for something far more valuable, and you know it and you feel it. And so we just want to qualify the new pilots that come in to be in it for the same reasons, the same motivation, the same inspiration. And it's going to change, right? If you're in it for these reasons, you're not going to be so disappointed if we change the metrics on you, right? Because you want us to improve. You don't want us to give you a pat on the back just to make you feel good. You don't want fake tokens. You don't want fake happiness, fake empowerment. You want the real deal. And how are we going to figure it out if we aren't honest with each other? So, that's why you are chosen. is because you know yourself and you want the truth. You don't want to just be told good try, right? Nice effort. You know, you won't take it personally if we give you feedback on the metrics that say, you know, maybe you're not in a flow state right now. We don't want to have an argument about it. We're not going to debate it. We want people who can authentically tell us, you know, I really don't think these metrics are accurate. And then we can look into it together. But we're not trying to please each other. Right? We're going for the truth. So that's the journey we're on together. And it's a marathon, right? It's not a sprint. Once it's there's going to be lots of copycats, right? There's going to be a lot of knockoffs, and we want to stay in the highest integrity and the highest value that you cannot copy. We will always have a brand that will be the strongest. I mean, we have the mother tree. That's why we're doing it this way. Anyone who copies us, they'd have to bet the whole company on their customers. Who's going to do that? You see, we've really thought this through for years, how to make sure that even when it does go, it doesn't then become copied and destroyed by somebody else. The energy and the value of the NF Toms, and that's why we're giving it a unique name, cannot be copied. All righty then. Anything else? Birgit's got hearts flowing. Laura's got hearts flowing. Yay! Love wins. Yeah, love wins. Love is going to win for sure. That I know. Even more from this experience I've been on. So, and you know, someday when the movie comes out, we're gonna have a good laugh about all this. Okay, have a great day, you guys. I love you, appreciate you. And in a couple weeks, we'll have another live call and we'll get to hopefully see some tokens minting. Yes, there's Laura. She's got these hearts coming out. I love it. Much love.
Well, for the lateness, I was evidently time challenged.
Yep. Bye-bye. Much love.